Hello.
Hello.
Excellent job in the studio.
Yes,
Our tunnel of sound.
which is poorly. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to sit like this.
All right. So what you're saying is get to it.
Maybe because the pillows, I'm sitting on two pillows and I'm tipping forward off of them. I can feel one like about to burst. You know, when you are sitting on like a beach ball, and you sit on it in the water and it slips and like pops out from under you. I feel like the pillows are doing that right now.
Okay.
This is almost worse than our closet.
It is a million times worse than our closet.
Okay. Well, in the future, we should take rid of the fan that's sitting right in front of your face.
Look, it's more important that we get the information out, not the conditions by which we do it. What do you call a nose without a face?
Nobody
Nobody knows.
knows. Oh, yeah.
What do you call a dog that does magic? A labracadabrador.
Where'd you learn those? Fun.
It doesn't matter. You're welcome.
Thanks. I learn jokes. Kids tell me jokes all the time. I can never remember any. I did hear one not too long ago that was awesome, but I've forgotten it.
Great build up, great execution. Way to bring it to the people. We have changed locations for our summer series to the middle of nowhere.
Planted some trees in the middle of nowhere today.
Planted some trees. And it's not a metaphor. We literally decided that in 28-degree weather, digging holes for trees was what we wanted to do.
Hey, and you know how the girls always make fun of me because I'm a hippie?
Yeah.
Even though I'm not really. Maya, who calls me the hippiest the most, named one of the trees Brenda.
Why Brenda? Like, she's not in accounting. It's a maple tree.
Yeah.
Brenda is someone that does the books at a small to medium construction company. All right, so let's get to it.
Right.
Part of our continuing summer series, now that we ourselves are at the beginning of summer and the kids are out of school and we are living the proverbial dream. My question.
What's the proverbial dream? In a cabin?
Yeah, lake life.
That every day.
Hashtag blessed.
Every day has caused us like 6 hours of manual labor.
And hundreds of dollars of supplies. Yeah. A broken toilet, broken water line.
It's good. Blueberry
wreck property, they said. It's super relaxing.
Blueberry bushes that I planted where there's zero sun.
Trees did well.
I thought that there was sun in those spots.
Who did better with their gardening assignment? Me planting 2 trees or you planting 2 blueberry bushes?
Yes, but I wanted them where they are. But now I just realize I thought that there'd be a lot of sun. But now that I pay attention, there's just no sun.
Tough. Anyways, continuing in our series of parenting and summer and all of that. How do you suggest?
You put such long pauses between every word. You know how much work it takes me every episode to cut out the pauses? I'm not going to cut out the pauses today.
Why would you cut those pauses out? Those are inflection pauses.
I know, but
it's not like I'm Paul Harvey. Good day. Like, that guy was brutal.
What was he from?
My dad used to listen to that radio station on the country station. It was literally some dude in between the hog reports. We lived in Calgary, but Dad still listened to a radio station that had hog reports and Paul Harvey. And Paul Harvey would do these long editorials. He was like an Andy Rooney type. Mm. And at the very end, his tagline was, "I'm Paul Harvey. Good day." And it seemed like the older he got, the pause got longer.
I feel like I've actually heard that. And
100%, yeah.
Or on classical music.
Maybe.
Really soft.
Yeah.
Talking.
Almost like ASMR.
And then, what would they report on hogs?
Hog prices, hog futures. I didn't know what it meant. I was 9 years old, riding in the regular cab GMC that Dad owned, listening, going, "What is this?" And then it would crank into Conway Twitty or Waylon Jennings or all these people that now that I'm an old man, I love and I hated when I was a kid.
Waylon Jennings is okay. What about Hog Futures?
Waylon Jennings is okay. Actually, Hog Futures, I think, is more of a reference to the movie Trading Places, because I think that's what the rich brothers end up trying to buy. And Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd use it to wipe them out. I think it's on Hog Futures.
Oh, I gotta watch.
I still don't know. I still don't know what Hog Futures are.
Okay.
But the really mean rich old dudes from Trading Places. Yeah. That's what they're going for.
We're going to have to rewatch that.
Or is it orange juice? I don't know. Orange Futures, Hog Futures, doesn't matter. Anyway, summer. We are at the cabin.
Yes.
We have been here a few days now.
Yes.
Our children have been coming in from the outdoors after at least one of us, not naming names, Caroline, is in bed already, sometimes for a considerable amount of time. They have...
In the pitch black, and we know that there's a bear. Continue. Shh, don't tell the other family.
Don't tell the other families that we're out here with. With that, though, how do you or should you set limits for kids in this situation? Because it's kind of a balance of, hey, it's summer, we want them to have fun, we want them to have freedom, we want to whatever. Where does that end? Because we have a relatively large gap between our kids and the kids they're playing with in age, right? You got some youngers, you got some olders, you got teenagers.
The youngest, right? I think, is around 11, 12, and then the oldest is 19.
Yeah. And so obviously different rules, but everybody seems to be getting painted with this. It's super dark and late, and we don't know where they are in the woods kind of brush. So it's I guess the topic of conversation is, how do you allow kids to have the freedom to enjoy summer without making life miserable at the end of August to get into September and get back into routines?
It's funny because I just took a couple of those kids into town. They wanted chicken wings, so whatever. So I asked them, I'm like, what parenting advice would you have for parents for summer? And they said, no restrictions. Let us stay up as late as we want because we never get to see our friends. These are the only time we get to see our friends. And during school, we're way too busy. And so I know a couple of kids last night were crying because parents embarrassed them, came and picked them up, not our kids.
No, we had no clue where our kids were until they walked through the door and said everybody else went home.
Yeah. And then they went wandering out to other cabins trying to find people, but everyone turned them down. So they're like, fine. They were disappointed. So our kids were disappointed because everybody else went home. But yeah, the other ones were just like crying because it's embarrassing that you're coming picking me up, in front of everybody. I think the big thing is like parents are worried about kids walking. Like there's no street lights. It's pitch black out. So the little ones walking in the dark by themselves. So I had offered Maya to drive them. I still have to work. So it was the long weekend and I was okay. But one of the things in my I've Got a Summer Success Guide, I do talk about structure and having structure. So letting them go out until midnight one night, 8 o'clock another night, you know what I mean? Like that's not good either. Right. Especially when we start forward thinking to back to school, we need to have structure. So maybe they don't have to go to bed at 8 o'clock. Maybe you can extend it, but I think that there still has to be some consistency. So it's
sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but like you're in the house by 9, do what you want until lights out.
And that's what I'm getting to. So I know last night, a lot of the younger kids were given a curfew of 10. Yeah. Parents were just leaving because we were playing Capture the Flag, which, by the way, I won. Yeah.
Now, what was the price you paid for winning? Can you fill the listener in on that?
Well, I definitely felt my hip pop at one point. And at one point, I literally thought I broke some ribs in the back. And my back was screaming. And I thought I broke some ribs.
Yeah. And your knee was how good?
Oh, yeah. Today I realized my knee. Last night, though. But I was running. I couldn't even see the flag. Just someone had seen it and said, just go run straight through. And I was running through brush. Like it's up to my waist brush. I don't even know what I stepped on and rolled ankles. But I ran. And as I'm sprinting, I saw the flag, grabbed it. And I could hear screaming that he's coming. Dan's coming after me. And he's like the Flash, man. I saw him chasing the kids. He is so fast. And I could hear him. But I'm like, I'm not going back to jail after all of this, probably cutting up my legs, and I'm not going to jail. And I did it. I won. I got out. I just beat him like seconds back to the safe zone. Anywho, what was the question?
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. So parents were around, but that was like 9:30. So, because the one dad was like, hey, you guys got to come home at 10. And then the other mom was like, but it's still bright out. Like it's what, 4 o'clock right now.
Yeah.
And it's bright. It was as bright as that. But by 10:30, it was pitch black.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing. I know that they said when it gets dark, please send the kids home.
Mhm.
Like as soon as it starts getting dark. So I think for me, it depends. I do think we need to have an established bedtime.
Okay. And that's kind of each family to their own, right?
Yeah.
Like figure out your kid and what you need and just say, you know what, we're going to be going to bed at this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's a sleepover, I know that there's going to be sleepovers.
For sure.
The kids are going to be sleeping over here, or ours are going to be going over to other cabins or whatever.
Yeah.
So then, I think that there is some leeway. I still prefer having a little bit of structure, but even during school, we are a little bit more lenient with that.
I think we're more lenient. We'll kind of roll with whatever. Weekdays are usually too busy to allow for that flexibility. So we don't really have to worry about it. Out here, though, it will most definitely happen while we're trying to work.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the added component that a lot of parents are having to deal with these days is the fact that you and I are very lucky that we can work fully remote, right? And we will. Like, I'm not taking next week off. I'm just going to work from the cabin. And then in the evenings, we can boat ride and do whatever, right? And I can enjoy the nights that way and then head home. So I guess the rules still kind of apply regardless, right? Whether you're at a cabin or you're at home kind of operating, right?
Yeah. So I think the variation comes in, I think kids they want to watch a scary movie. So if they're inside, they probably don't need to be home at 10, right? If the established bedtime is 11, they could probably, as long as they're getting a drive back to their cabin for 11. So I think it's a matter of sitting down with your kids. I always talk about this and collaborate a plan. We need to stick. And this is the secret. It's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are letting them go stay up till midnight one night, but then expecting them to be in bed at 9 or 10 another night, and you're wishy-washy that way, it's going to be a fight. You're always going to have a fight. And so I think laying down those expectations and boundaries, maybe there's an exception. Like maybe you're going to have a night. I know we're going to try to get to an outdoor movie.
Mm-hmm.
We can't really start it probably until 9 or 10. So that's going to be a little bit of a later night. So with those exceptions, I'm trying to plan ahead, but yeah, we can't say what the bedtime is because some kids, it will still be 8. Some kids will be midnight. I don't know what that is, but for us here, I would want to set rules. No, you never walk the roads or through the bush alone in the dark. So always have a buddy.
And again, that applies in city or out of city, really. Like we're talking about, right? Like we're using a lot of examples about what it's like at the cabin, but for people that aren't out of town for a lot of summer, it's still setting the same kind of guidelines of, you can go to the park, but you can't go past this road and you've got until X amount of time before I expect you home.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, in the city is easier because there's streetlights. That was our rule, right?
Yeah.
When we were kids, just be home as soon as the streetlights come on. You've got like 15 minutes to get home kind of thing.
I heard someone refer to Gen X as the last of the feral generations. And that was the explanation.
Oh, yeah.
We were the last of the feral generations where the streetlights were our sign to go home. And we were vaccinated with something like a fire hose size needle.
Yeah.
And like all these different, it was making me laugh because I'm like, you never really think about that, but it's true.
We really were. Like we got to run amok. But I think there's a lost art to this. So yeah, I think those kinds of things, there's something else. Oh, and just letting us know. I mean, it's so much easier. When we were kids, our parents didn't know where we were. There was no texting to be like, hey, we're going to just run to Flying K and get a Slurpee, right? Or, hey, we're going to go to the park or whatever. But our kids do now. Like they can, if, Kate, we're leaving that cabin and we're going to go to the woods and play Ghost or something, right? Like as long as they're keeping us updated on where they are, I think that's a good rule.
So auxiliary question, going back to the scary movie night. Perhaps it's not a question. Yes, it's a question. I have just figured out how to control an entire group of the LED lights. I can turn them on remotely and I can make them turn on blood red.
Ooh.
Is that something that we're going to do during Scary Movie?
That would be amazing.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to say that because I figured it out and I can't wait to watch those kids have heart attacks.
Yeah. The one little girl, maybe not if she's here, but I already was talking to her today. I think she's going to skip Scary Movie night anyway.
She's missing out because the room's going to turn blood red.
Amazing.
Pants will be wet.
Amazing.
Yeah, they will pee themselves in fear.
Oh, I wish the older girl, Maya's friend, was here. She's so scared of scary movies. She couldn't. We were watching a cheesy one that's not even scary, and she couldn't. She left. She left and sat on the deck outside. So I don't know, like, was there anything else? I mean, I do have that summer guide, so I'll put the link again in the show notes. But I do talk about consistency, same wake up time, same meal time, same bedtime, like all of that consistency is so important.
Does things like family meetings fall into that consistency in your mind too? Like trying to keep that cadence as well. So it's not a huge shock. Because that's to me what I find when it's you and I, we kind of go with the flow. So that means that our Sunday night, which is typically when we would have a family meeting, isn't quite a Sunday night in the traditional sense, right? It's we're out in the boat or whatever. So still trying to find a time, perhaps move it to a breakfast
Sunday morning. Yeah,
everybody's getting up and it's kind of just there. In line with that consistency, one of the things we also try and establish, and we're having limited success so far in the early stages of the summer, is the help assignments. Mm-hmm. Right. And trying to establish a cadence of that doesn't feel like they're being picked on, but really helps. Because whether you're at home or you're out of town, there's a lot of stuff that needs to still be done. Mm-hmm. And kids, in my personal observation, once school is done, it's like a big switch flicks off, mm-hmm. and they think everything's done. Yeah. They think chores are done. They think responsibilities are done. I can stay up till midnight because I don't see my friends. So to me, the reason why I brought up the family meeting is I think that's an important step very early in the summer process or prior to even going, that you establish expectations and then you can just reinforce it at those meetings. Because otherwise you and I found ourselves already it felt like one of the kids was being picked on, right? Yeah. She felt she was being picked on because it's like, well, but dude, you got 6 things we've asked you to do that you haven't done in 2 days. We don't know how else to ask you. Yeah. Right. But then it's like, well, you never asked so-and-so, right? Because she did her stuff, right? And you get into that cycle and it's never positive, right? Yeah.
And they are good. They're motivated. Like they know I do this stuff. Like today, Willow did her dishes because she knew she couldn't go see her friends until she did them, right? So I think that there's those pieces. And so establishing all those expectations. And again, there should be time, like screens is a whole other one. Like we want to minimize screens, but they should have an hour of physical activity, an hour outside minimum. It should be more during the summer, but this is the minimum. If they want to do the physical activity and outdoor time at the same time, that's fine. An hour of creativity. We want some learning time, at least half an hour of reading, but an hour of learning time. And it could be learning like exploration. They don't have to sit and do math sheets, but it's just, researching something, going out and exploring or getting a magnifying glass and checking things out. Like there should still be that component. Did I say creativity already? Yeah. See, our girls are good with the reading and creativity. That's what they do all morning before they go out, with their friends. So establishing those. And so that's part of it. What's the chore for the day? You should still have those structures and expectations. So we've got our usually 5 things, right? Yeah. So and whatever's important for you. Screens, we haven't turned on a screen since school finished, which is amazing.
Yeah. And thankfully the weather's not looking like it's going to give us an opportunity or a need to be cooped up for a few more days at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was talk a couple of nights ago about doing the Scary Movie, but the older ones were like, no, it's beautiful out. We are going to maximize this outside time. They just love running through the forest and playing hide and seek and capture the flag. And so, nobody's even wanted to turn on a screen, which is amazing. So, I think this weekend's kind of all over the place just because there's so many families here and it's just juggling with everybody.
Exciting. It's the first few days, right? Which is fine. in my, let them be feral, for lack of a better word, and have their fun. But then, yeah, as we get back into our routine, we have to establish something.
Well, the few families that are here, all the parents are leaving, but the grandparents are going to be watching. And I know that they've got strict.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's actually helpful. Maybe coordinating too with other families, right? Like, what are the expectations and rules if you're really close? I mean, there's a few down the way. I have, with the 19-year-old, for example, like, I'm not going to be dictating rules or anything like that, but maybe it's just coordinating those expectations too, so that could be helpful, right?
For
Just
sure.
making sure the families are all sort of, if you're close enough, right? If not, then that's okay. But just something else just to make it easier. Yeah.
So those are all great. And I'm going to throw one different question at you, because it comes from an article I read. Mm-hmm. And this is totally random, but I came across another parenting site's tips for summer, right? Like, this is what we're doing for summer. And one of the articles was, summer is a great time to start your kid on therapy. And I'm like, okay. So I read it, and it's things like less expectations on time. They give them time to get comfortable before the school year. And in my mind, knowing how we operate in the summer, I thought it was a curious take on it. So what are your thoughts on something like that? Completely, we can shelve the summer series advice, and I just want your opinion on, is summer a good time to start your kid on therapy?
I would say no,
okay.
Unless the kid is like, hey, mom, I would really like to talk to a therapist.
Yes.
Right? Because even on a PD day, I hate seeing kids on a PD day where they don't have school, because I'm like, yay, you get to spend an hour with Caroline on your day off of school when you'd rather be going somewhere else. Fantastic. And I literally, that's how I'll say hello to them. And then they just kind of chuckle, and then they're okay. But truly, so it's funny. It's probably bad that I'm saying this as a psychologist, because of course I want to be seeing people, but I know I've had so many families who are panicking that I'm not there in person, for example, or panicking because I've just finished an assessment. They just got a new diagnosis, and now we got to get tutors, and we got to get the support. And should we go see a psychiatrist? Should we see his counselor? Blah, 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 blah. And I just feel like, oh my gosh, let's breathe and stop pathologizing our kids, because so many kids, yes, there are times to see a therapist. And I think maybe that's a whole other episode, when to go see one. I would want to start with the parents first anyway. So maybe this is a fantastic time for parents to come see a therapist, just so that you can learn how to co-regulate with your kids, set them up for success, how to communicate with them effectively. Those are the things. And you've got all summer to practice that. So when the stress of school and everything else comes back in, you're ready. You're managing your stress. You're, able to function with your kids. But I feel like kids everywhere feel like there's something wrong with them. And so many kids that I see now, I'm not the only therapist. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, it's just, what the heck? Or tutors, or, like this person and that person. And it's just so much. So yes, therapy is great for kids, but I would say only once parents have already created a foundation for themselves, because it's like throwing them back into a fire if parents aren't able, don't know what their kids are working on, don't know how to support them, don't know how to, what homework do I need to work on so that they can actually get some success out of therapy. Anyway, it's a whole other topic, but no, I think kids need to be kids. They need to learn to play again, be bored.
Yeah.
Not have screens all the time, go knock on somebody's house, to say, like, door, to say, hey, can Susie come play? All of those things our kids are lacking that I think are more important at this point than therapy.
Fully agree. But
okay.
it was funny when I was reading it, especially in the context of us talking about things to do in summer and letting our kids be absolute wingnuts as much as possible. It just seemed like such a counterintuitive topic. And I would agree, unless your kid is in a situation where they absolutely need that support, and it's not a matter of, that just absolutely have to, then yeah, absolutely go fill your boots. But it seemed like just one more thing to make your kid suffer through after a year of everything else. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, yeah, it was weird.
And it does feel like somebody said, I can't remember who said it or where we were. It was just within the past couple of days, but they said, something along the lines of, here's COVID, that sucks. And now, hey, COVID's over. And here's a whole other pile of crap, universe, just to go all over us, just to suck us back down even further. There's just this heaviness. And I think we need to create more lightness.
I agree.
And play and fun and laughter and relaxing and
play until you pop your hip out. That's what you're telling parents, right? Play until you crack a rib.
It's so hard because I feel like I'm 28 at most.
And you look like you're 24, babe.
The kids you generally thought I look way younger, but now they're like, yeah, you look like you're in your 40s. I'm like, thanks for that.
Did you slap them both in their face, in the cherub-like face?
But it's been a heavy year for everybody. And I think, I feel it.
Yeah. So to help you with that, you're allowed to run around with your friends until it's dark, but then you have to check in with me and tell me what part of the forest you're in. Okay. And if you need me to come get a ride because you've blown your knee out or some old person, a malady has come, I will come find you.
I probably looked ridiculous yesterday because all the adults are sitting around having drinks. I don't drink, but they're sitting around not wanting to do anything. And I show up all dressed in black, head to toe black. And I'm like, bring it. And the kids are like,
and you brought it.
What are we doing? Like, we're done hide and seek. We're not going to play it. And I'm like, I just dressed all in black on a plus 30 day to go play hide and seek. So we were doing this. And then I left with the kids. Mm-hmm. I didn't sit down ever with the adults. No. I left with the kids. All came back.
The kids were going to have fun whether they liked it or not. Is that the approach?
No, they were ready. No, I was, So it's funny how I'm still like childlike in that regard.
Well, that in itself is a lesson.
Yeah.
Because you're right. The rest of the time you just get sucked into doing the crap work. But you need some 8535 or something at the end. All right, that's it.
Good day.
Good day.